of each class, whoever is the one that's recording it, you just have to add the link of the recording onto one of the discussion boards. Did you see that? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw that. And we just have to go through the quiz questions, right? And do the quiz together?
Yeah. Which I dropped the ball on. I didn't realize we were supposed to figure out our own answers before the class. I thought that's what we were doing in the group.
Oh, you're good. It was hard to figure out what was supposed to happen for this week.
Yeah, there's a ton going on in this class.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
How do you say your name?
Shanaz?
Shanaz. Oh, that's pretty.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Who else were you with?
Is everyone here?
I don't think so. I think there's a few more people.
Yeah, there's 1, 2.
I'll see if everyone. Sometimes I've had like good and bad luck with Google Hangouts. Sometimes links for people.
I've never used Google Hangouts before.
It can be a little confusing at first. So to start a video, if you're ever the one starting the video, you go to YouTube. And you click on your account, and then you go to Creator Studio.
Okay.
And then in the Creator Studio, you can start a live stream. And that's basically what it is.
Okay.
And then I pushed start recording, or it says start broadcast. It's in the bottom. It'll only show up on my screen because I started it, I think. But if you ever start it, that's what you click, and that's how you record it. And that's how we send it to our teacher.
Okay.
But I can send them. I'm fine sending them.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay.
So what are we supposed to do when we meet?
I think we're supposed to do the group quiz each week together.
Oh, that's it? Just like take the quiz together?
I think so. What do you guys think?
Oh.
Yeah, I think that was basically it. If anybody has any questions on any of the question, like on any of the quiz, then we just kind of go over that, and then we take the quiz together. I didn't realize that there was going to be a ton of questions, so I didn't do them all.
Yeah, either. That's okay. This is all our first time. It's totally fine. We'll be more on top of it next week.
Well, it's also hard because it's the beginning of the week, so you already have so much to do when it's been like a day. So
yeah.
All right. Do we know how many people we're missing?
I feel like we have. There's another girl. Her name's Ryan, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of us here right now. One, 2, 3. I think we're missing two people.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Ryan Blackburn and a Cade Scott. I don't know where they are though.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to wait a few more minutes, or do you guys want to start the test?
I don't care.
I feel like it's going to take us a while to do this quiz.
Yeah, we could just start going through it and then catch them up.
Yeah. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
One question: are we recording yet?
Yeah, I started recording a couple minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think right before you jumped on. And sometimes these only let you record. Well, I think I just updated it, so never mind. Actually, you can record it whenever. Okay.
All right. Cool. Let's do this.
Okay, I'm pulling the quiz up right now.
So I opened the quiz yesterday to try to see how long it was, and it's locked my iLearn until I complete it.
Oh no.
Because I can't like get notifications or anything. And I was like, oh well, cool. No big deal.
That happened to me last semester.
I just didn't even think about it, and I was like, oh, right. But it's fine. All right.
Okay, I'm starting. Do one of us want to like put it up on the screen so we know? Like, do you want me to share my screen with you?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Then we could look at.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to, or I can, whatever's easier. I know your computer might have a lot going on.
You know, it should work. Okay. I think you guys should be able to see it.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. Do we just want to take turns reading them, or what?
Sure.
Okay. Let's start.
Let's start.
We're just gonna go one by one reading them. Is that right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'll go with the first one. When an economist points out that you and millions of other people are interdependent, he or she is referring to the fact that we are all.
Okay. Let's see.
I chose the second one.
I did too.
We rely on each other. Yeah, that's what I would write.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Woohoo! It's hopefully right then.
Yeah.
I can read the next one. Refer to figure 3.5. If Hosne must work 0.5 hours to make each purse, then her production possibilities frontier is based on how many hours of work? 2, 5, 20, 50. I put 5, but I don't know if I'm right.
So I did this quiz yesterday, and I can't see the questions anymore.
Oh, you already did it?
Yeah, I did it, and I was gonna share my answers here today, but I can't see my answers anymore either.
Oh.
Yeah, because I did pretty good, and like I can't remember anything, right? And I can't see what I put either, so like I'm no help right now.
Okay. Well, that's good to know that we can't go back and look at the quiz once we've taken
Yeah.
it.
Well, now I know that because before, like for my other classes, like I can do that.
Yeah, I think the instructor can adjust it. But maybe as we go along and we read the questions, maybe it'll spark the
Maybe,
memory.
yeah, I hope so.
Okay.
Well, her production's possibilities frontier. I don't even remember that word from the reading. Based on 2 hours of work.
I think that's just the line that is created by the two options.
Oh, okay. That would make sense. The frontier.
I'm trying to remember how I got that. I think I got 5 because if you go halfway to like the middle point, which I think is what the frontier, I don't know. I don't, like I said, this is my logic. I went to the halfway point. So like on the second one, halfway is 2 and halfway is 3. And then, no, that doesn't make sense. Never mind. I don't remember how I got the answer.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So if it takes him 0.5 hours to make each purse, he made 10 purses, so that would have been 5 hours total, right? To make
That's
all those,
probably where I got it. Yes.
to make 10 purses. So I mean, I guess it could be 5. I don't know if like the amount of wallets he makes affects that or anything.
I would think not, because if that's all it takes him, then when he's not making any wallets, he's fully focusing on purses, and it takes him half an hour. So I said 5, but
Okay, that sounds good to me.
does that make sense to other people?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay.
Wait, were they both equal? Like, You said it would take 10 hours. It would take 5 hours to make 10 purses.
We don't have any information on anything but the purses for Hosne. Like, so we can't even really compare. That's all we have.
You're right. Then that's logical.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. If the production possibilities frontiers shown are each for 1 year of working, then which of the following combinations of jackets and sweaters could Lisa and Bryce together produce in a given year? Oh, this is a little bit more tricky. So we know the timeline 1 year. What is the...
So I think the combination, they don't tell us how much. So I think if you just go halfway, you know how on the examples in the book it had like that point halfway through the.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's right.
So for the top one, it would be 2 sweaters and 8 jackets, and then add that to 1 sweater and 5 jackets. So how many did I just say?
That would be 3 sweaters.
That's not an option. So I'm wrong.
Oh, that sounded right.
Dang it.
Hmm.
5.
Okay,
Let me see if I can remember.
Okay, I think this is actually more simple than we're thinking. I think it's just 16 jackets that Lisa made and 10 jackets that Bryce made. So I think you just add the 16. Well, is that an answer? No.
No.
Never mind. Okay.
Do we? Oh, I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. So total, how many can they both produce in a given year?
I mean, when you listen to that, you kind of think you just add the 2 of them together, but that's not the year.
Yeah, it's not an option. A combination though makes it sound like, I mean, between the 2 of them, or is it a combination? Like if one does one and one does the other.
I'm not sure. I can't remember what I did.
I have a question. When you look at that graph, does that mean they could either, like, does it mean Lisa could make 16 jackets or 4 sweaters? Is that how I read that?
Yeah, so if she dedicated all of her time to just sweaters, I think the maximum she could make is 4, and vice versa. And then kind of what they were saying earlier, if she were to split her time, then it would just be the middle of that, I think.
Okay. So I think it's just asking which of these combinations is possible.
So if we make 1 sweater, say Bryce makes 1 sweater, then he's only making like 4 jackets.
Yeah.
And then
read it, yeah.
Just hang them over there.
So like if one of them only makes 1 sweater, then is it possible for 22 jackets to be made?
So he makes 4 and Lisa only makes jackets. She makes 16, so that's 20. So I don't think that one's a possibility.
Okay, so that means 1 and 2, like the first 2 answers are impossible?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. So if 4 sweaters are made, that's Lisa's best possible. So 4 sweaters are made. How many jackets are made? Actually, yeah, that might work. Because if Bryce makes 0 sweaters, 12. Oh wait, no, he makes 14.
He can only make 10 total jackets.
Oh, you're right. I keep reading this wrong. I'm glad we're doing this together.
The last one couldn't work either because neither of them can make 5 sweaters
Well, can a combination?
unless you combine. Yeah.
So if the top one, or if Lisa makes 4 and Bryce makes 1, then Bryce can still make 4 jacket. That's still I don't know.
Okay. Let's see if we can do number 2 again if we combine them.
2 sweaters.
So
So
that
they each do 1.
I think that one might
3.
wait, 10 plus 16. 26.
That one might work. I mean, it looks like the best bet, but I honestly have no idea for sure. What do you guys think we should do?
I feel like I'm overcomplicating this in my head. I think it's probably a lot more easy than this.
I think it has to be either 1 or 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the other question. If there's only 1 sweater, who makes it? Do we have to figure out who has the best comparative advantage?
Yeah, but it's difficult because they don't tell us how long it takes them to make each one.
Yeah, we just know how many they can make in a year.
So if there's 1 sweater, then
I would think that would be the best because if there's 1 and we take it from Lisa, she could still probably make 10 to 12 jackets. And if Bryce makes 10 jackets, then there's 22. So maybe that is possible.
okay, so that's with number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if Lisa makes 1 sweater, then there's only room for 15. Is that what you said?
I think it would probably be between like 12 or 10 or 12 jackets if he makes 1 sweater. So that's 1/4. So it'd probably be 12.
Oh yeah.
Business administration, of course.
So if it makes 1 sweater, he'll make 12, or she'll make 12 jackets, and then Bryce will make 10. So that's 22. So I think it's the first one.
I think
Yeah,
you're right.
that sounds right.
Cool. That was difficult.
Really had to talk that one out. Okay. Assume Andrea and Paul can switch between producing wheat and producing beef at a constant rate. Which of the following combinations of beef could Andrea produce in 1 8-hour day? Sorry if you can hear, my daughter keeps tooting. Just so you know, that's her, not me. Okay. Which of the following combinations can Andrea produce in 1 8-hour day? Okay. Constant rate. Minutes needed to make 1.
So this one, I got 16 bushels and 32 pounds, but it didn't make sense to me because for me, I feel like if it takes 30 minutes to make 1 bushel of wheat, she can make 16 bushels in 8 hours. But if she's spending all her time on wheat, then she can't make the beef. But none of the other combinations add up to 8 hours. So I didn't know if it was just how much of each she could make in one day if she focused on it. Because if so, it'd be 16 and 32. Because those both add up to 8-hour days on their own. But all the rest are like weird combinations of like 8.25 and 7.5 and 16. And so it's nothing else is close.
Right.
If that makes sense.
If I remember right, I think that's what I put too.
The 16 bushels and 32 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you find 16? You did.
So 30 minutes in 8 hours, so you make 16 bushels in an 8-hour day.
I mean, like the math. Did you do 30 divided by 8?
No, I did 0.5 because 30 minutes is half of an hour.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a really dumb moment.
You're good.
I'm like, how do you even do that?
And then 32 would be 15 or 1/4 of an hour in 8 hours. So 32.
Yeah, that's
Is that-
right.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Sorry, and then for the beef, you did 0.25 because it's a fourth
Yeah.
times 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason,
Or no, it's 4 by 8 hours because you can make 4 pounds of beef in 1 hour. Sorry. Because 15 minutes is 1/4 of an hour, so you can make 4 pounds of beef in 1 hour. And then there's 8 hours a day, so 32.
oh. Okay.
Sorry, I explained that really weird.
Yeah, I feel like I got really confused on that. That's okay.
All right. The fact that the line slopes downward reflects the fact that
I would say trade off.
that's what I put. But I also
Which one?
could mean that they
Which
could
one?
that Brazil faces a trade-off between producing peanuts and producing cashews.
Mm.
I also thought about how Brazil could specialize in producing cashews because of where the line is at, but I guess you can't tell that without having something to compare to. So
Right.
I think it's still the trade-off.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Okay. If point A represents Alice's current production and point B represents Betty's current production, under what circumstances can both Alice and Betty benefit from specialization in trade? I thought that if Alice produces more lemonade and Betty produces more pizza.
Oh, really? Because I would have said the opposite of that.
I think Alice should produce more lemonade, and Betty should do more pizza. Only because the first one it goes higher, and that's the line for lemonade, and in the second graph that one goes outwards, and that's the line for pizzas.
Yeah.
Well, I think, one of the, okay, so the first graph is Alice's and the second graph is Betty's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I thought since 400 lemonades is lower than 450 lemonades on Betty's, I thought that Betty produces lemonade better than Alice, like more efficiently. So that would be what Betty specializes in. But
I was looking more at the points, the A and B points along the lines, because that says where their current production is.
Oh, okay.
So currently, Alice is producing 200 lemonade and 100 pizza, and Betty's producing 180 of both. So
Okay.
you might be right. I was just looking off of those numbers and
Well, that makes
thought that they were doing better that way.
No, that makes sense. Because if Betty's doing the same at both, then you would choose what Alice is doing better at, which is lemonade. Okay. I agree with you guys.
Okay.
What do you think, Clay?
Yeah, that was kind of confusing. Yeah, just kind of listening to you guys. I think that's right. Because I was kind of thinking what you were as well, how like kind of the opposite of it. But yeah, now that you've explained it, I think the Alice produces more lemonade and Betty more pizza is right.
Okay, cool. So Alice produces more lemonade and Betty produces more pizzas. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ken and Tracy are two woodworkers who both make tables and chairs. In 1 month, Ken can make 3 tables or 18 chairs, whereas Tracy can make 8 tables or 24 chairs. Given this, we know that the opportunity cost of 1 chair is... Okay, so For Ken, 3 tables or 18 chairs. So that's 1/9. I mean,
6th.
6. Thank you.
Mhm.
So it's one of the first 2, and then
Mhm.
8 out of 24, 1/3.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I hope that's not a trick question.
I know.
Oh wait, I think it is a trick question. Nope. Nope, I think it's not. Okay. All right,
I did get you though.
All right. Assume that Japan and Korea can switch between producing cars and producing airplanes at a constant rate. Refer to table 3-6. Japan's opportunity cost of 1 car is.
So it's the same thing. 30 cars or 150 airplanes. So if they make 1 car, it's 1/5 of an airplane.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And then the same for Korea, it would be 1/3 of an airplane because it's 50 and 150.
Yeah. My only worry with these questions is that it's actually the whole number.
Yeah, I thought about that with the chair one, but they're making more cars because it takes less time. So in the time to make 1 airplane, they can make 5 cars.
Like logically, that makes sense.
So the opportunity cost of 1 airplane is 5 cars, but the opportunity cost of 1 car is only 1/5 of an airplane.
Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, that makes sense. So then would it be 1/5 airplane and 1 cost of 1? No.
And 1/3 airplane. And Korea's cost of 1 car is 1/3. So it's the same thing. They're making 50 cars, or they're making 3 cars in the time that they make 5 airplane or 1 airplane. And so in the time that they make 1 car, they're only making 1/3 of an airplane.
1/3 of an airplane. Okay.
You're
That
right.
makes sense now. That's confusing.
Yeah, I had to do that with the chair and table one, and then it slowly made more sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're in our group.
No, I am not good at this. I have already taken this class, but
Oh, no.
at Utah State,
Uh-huh.
and when I transferred credits, it didn't count.
Oh,
And I took this class like 4.5 years ago, so I don't remember anything. And I didn't do well in it the first time. So, warning you, I'm not a lot of help. That is just one concept that did make sense.
But if one concept makes sense to each of us, then we can just teach each other.
There you go. All right. Suppose that our churro is willing to trade 6 burritos to Dinah for each 10 tacos that Dinah produces and sends to our churro. Which of the following combinations of tacos and burritos could Dinah then consume, assuming that Dinah specializes in taco production and our churro specializes in burrito production?
6 to 10.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't even know where to start this one. 300.
So this one confused me, but I tried to think about it. So if Dinah is specializing in tacos, does that mean that's all she's making?
Yeah, that's tricky.
Mhm.
That's what I would assume.
Or is she just making more tacos than burritos?
I think it's specializing.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
our churro just makes burritos,
Yeah, just one.
Okay. So our churro's making 300 burritos and Dinah is making 400 tacos, but they're trading. So what can they consume if for every 6 burritos she gives 10 tacos?
Oh my word. I feel like there's an equation for this and I just don't know it. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yeah, I don't know.
we could figure it
Because
out and it would be easy because we could just plug in the numbers. Okay.
so they probably want to meet somewhere closer to the middle. So if we trade 60 burritos for 100 tacos, she's consuming 300 tacos and 60 burritos. That
Wait.
is an option.
How did you find that?
I just made it up. I added times everything by 10. Because if she trades 100 tacos, so 10 tacos for 6. So I just multiplied it by 10 to get an idea. So she'll trade 100 tacos and get 60 burritos. So she'll consume 300 tacos and 60 burritos because
Maybe
she's getting rid of those, which it is an option. Doesn't mean it's the only right option, but
I don't know if this is a good way to go about this, but what if we just see what answer simplifies to 6/10, 6 over 10? Do you know what I mean? 6 to 10.
yeah, that might work. Except that you have to take into account what they've already produced because they're trading, so they're subtracting what they're getting and adding, so they're still going to have leftovers. But it might work. I don't know.
I guess I see what you mean.
Mm,
Let's see if can she consume 100 tacos and 200 burritos. So if to consume 100, she would have to trade 300 tacos, which means she's getting 180 burritos back. So that one wouldn't work.
So over my head. Holy cow.
To consume 200, she would have to give away 200, which would mean she would get 120 burritos back.
Not that.
I think it's 300 tacos and 60 burritos.
yeah, I feel like that's the only one that would work.
Because what? 400? Because then that means she consumes 100.
That means she gives away 100 tacos, and if she gives away 100 tacos, she's getting 60 burritos in return, and so that puts her at 360.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
That makes more sense than the others.
Okay. I'm gonna need to review my math skills again.
Yeah. This is not fun stuff.
I actually did really bad on that pretend, like the pre-test for the math part.
Oh, it took me forever.
Oh my word, I did really bad at it. I should not be in this class. But it's okay. We're gonna try really hard.
All right. So is everyone happy with 300 tacos and 60 burritos?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're almost halfway done.
Suppose that a worker in Fredonia can produce either 6 units of corn or 2 units of wheat per year. A worker in Slovenia can produce either 2 units of corn or 6 units of wheat per year. Each nation has 10 workers. Without trade, Slovenia produces and consumes 30 units of corn and 10 units of wheat per year. Slovenia produces and consumes 10 units of corn and 30 units of wheat. Suppose that trade is then initiated between the two countries. Fredonia sends 30 units of corn to Slovenia in exchange for 30 units of wheat. Fredonia will now be able to consume what? I feel like I need to make a chart.
Yeah, so this one's similar to the last one we just did.
So it's 30 to 30. So that's nice that it's at least the same.
Yeah, so Fredonia has 30 corn and 10 wheat, but they're sending their 30 corn to Slovenia, and Slovenia is sending their 30 wheat to them, and they have 10 corn.
So are they each sending all that they have?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it sounds like, but none of the answers make sense with that.
Yeah.
This one didn't make sense because if they're both giving away 30 of both things, then they'll have 40 of one thing and nothing of the other.
I think I put 30 units of corn and 30 units of wheat only because when they give up 30, they get 30 back.
That's what I would have thought. But
I think that's what I put, if I remember right.
Well, they give up 30 and they get back 30 of the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have ended up with,
oh,
and they produced 10 on their own, so they would have ended up with 40 and then 0 in that case.
So,
I see.
yeah, and so Fredonia,
sense.
and so it's asking about what Fredonia can consume. So Fredonia is sending, is sending 30 units of corn and receiving 30 of wheat. So they should have 40 of corn, 40 of wheat
Mhm.
and no corn. So on my own, I guessed 10 units of corn and 40 units of wheat because that's the only one that had 40 units of wheat. But I don't know where the other 10 units of corn came from. Maybe they kept what I don't know. It makes no sense.
Oh, I'm forgetting. The first sentence says a worker can produce 6 units of corn or 2 units of wheat. How does that play into it?
So that's each worker can produce that much per year, and they both have 10 workers.
And they each have
Oh,
opposite.
no. So you might be right. So without trade, these are the amounts that they can make. Oh, wait, no, never mind. That adds up to the 2 units and the 6. Never mind. I thought it made sense, but it didn't. I don't know.
Okay, I'm just rereading it. Oh, it's just specifically, we're answering the question specifically for Fredonia. So
Mhm.
Fredonia will be able to consume a maximum of I would have thought 0 corn.
And 40 wheat, right?
Wait, I think. Okay, so they could produce 6 units of corn or 2 units of wheat per year, and there's 10 workers. So if 5 of the workers produce 6 units of corn in a year, then that is 30, which they trade. Then the other 5 are going to produce the 2 units of wheat, which would be 10 units of wheat. But if all 10 just worked to produce corn,
Then they
then
get
they would
30
end up with
units.
60 units of corn for a year.
And
They would
they get
trade
30. Yeah, you're
30.
right.
It would be 30 and 30.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, because without trade, they're splitting themselves half and half. But if they can trade, then they'll specialize and they'll each get 30 of each.
Mhm.
Okay. That's smart. I like it.
I'm gonna push mute for a second. Just so you know.
Okay.
It's like unnecessarily complicated.
It really is. All right. This next one is the same as an earlier one. Assume that the farmer and the rancher each has 24 labor hours available if each person spends all his time producing the good in which he has a comparative advantage, and trade takes place at the price of 1 pound of pork for 2 pounds of tomatoes, then who gains and who is better off?
I can't see the question.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading it off of mine.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this one's overly complicated because it gives you all these numbers and your labor hours and your equations. But if each company is doing their comparative advantage, won't both gain from the trade? Isn't that the whole point of trade?
Yeah.
So the options are that the farmer and the rancher will both gain, the farmer will gain, but the rancher won't, the rancher will, but the farmer won't, and neither will. So because they're trading, doesn't that mean that they'll both benefit? Or am I making it too simple?
I mean, that would be like really good if it was that simple. I hope it is. Yeah. So comparative advantage, that is whoever has the lower opportunity cost. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And absolute advantage is it takes lower input. I mean,
Okay.
output. It takes a lower level of output or units, lower level of units.
Okay.
Each person spends almost time producing the goods in which he has comparative advantage. So we need to figure out what the opportunity cost is so we can figure out what the who has the comparative advantage. Right?
Yeah.
Is that the step? Okay, so the farmer, he has, let's see, 6 to 3. So if he makes 6 pork, he loses 3 tomatoes, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm. So it's one half.
Yeah. But the rancher, it's equal. So the farmer has, so the rancher just depends on the farmer. So the farmer comparative advantage would be pork.
Right. So then if they're trading at a pound of 1 pound of pork for 2 pounds of tomatoes, the farmer will give the rancher 1 pound of pork and he'll receive 2 pounds of tomatoes. So he'll have 5 and 5, but the rancher will be left with 5 pork and 2 tomato.
Yeah, that makes sense. But how do we get?
So I guess maybe the farmer will gain and the rancher won't. So maybe it wasn't as easy as I thought.
Yeah.
So would it be that the farmer will gain from this, but the rancher won't?
Okay, so something I wrote in my notes was, let me pull this up. When the gains, okay. So with comparative advantage, the economy always rises. So it says in the book it says for both parties to gain from trade, the price at which they trade must lie between 2 opportunity costs. So I
Right.
think it will only, like, the answer has to be both of them gain.
Right, because they're trading, so they have to be better off.
Yeah, like they wouldn't do it. I think maybe this is that what you were saying originally? That
Yes.
it's that they both do?
Because I just think they'll both be better off because they're trading, and I thought that was the whole point of the lesson.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Okay, I'm gonna click that then.
Okay. So the first one.
Yeah. All right. If Hosne and Merv switch from each person dividing her time equally between the production of purses and wallets to each person spending all of her time producing the good in which she has comparative advantage, then total production of purses will increase by. So I found what the number of purses were being made when they were both making spending half of their time. So if half their time, it would be 5 purses for Hosne and 2 for Merv, so 7. But if they produce at a comparative advantage, then I think who has the comparative advantage? It was 2/3 and 4/5. So I think Merv has the lower comparative advantage.
How did you find how many purses it would take? I mean, how many purses you could make if they
I
would-
just split it in half because if they're spending half their time, if they're spending all their time, they can make 10. So if they spend half their time, I just assumed it would be 5.
and then make 4 wallets. Does that go down too?
Yeah, but we're just focusing on purses. But
I just wanted to make sure I understood.
yeah, no, that's how I did it. I mean, I don't make sense to me, but and then for person or for the other one, it goes from 4 to 2. So if they both split their time, we're producing 7 purses, and then we're supposed to see how that would change if the person with comparative advantage produces the purses.
Oh, I see. Okay. So to find the comparative advantage, you find who has the.
So actually, either way, it will be, I think it'll be 3 because we're making 7 right now. And if Hosne fully focuses on purses, we make 10. And if Merv only makes purses, it goes down to 4 and it asks about increase. So, but either way, the number's 3. But that's me just easing out of the question. But
So either way, the number's 3 because
it's going from 7 to, if they have comparative advantage, they're only producing theirs. So it would either be 10 or 4 purses.
Okay. Okay. So because
But-
Osne's he can make more purses, that makes him more efficient in making purses.
Well, technically the comparative advantage,
Oh yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with that. That's just the opportunity cost.
yeah. But if we're already at 7 and it's saying if they switch to comparative advantage, then the total production of purses will increase. If we're at 7 and then it switches to Merv, it goes down to 4. So that's not an increase.
Right.
So I would assume that it would go to Hosne, but it's still going up by 3 either way. So I think the answer is 3.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Way to go, Jenny.
I'm sure you guys would all be on the same track if you had looked ahead. I promise. I'm not smart. I just have already thought through it once. But I've actually changed a ton of my answers from the ones I had checked. So
Interesting.
thinking through it again actually helps because they make more sense the second time I say them. But anyways.
That's why the farmer should assume the farmer and rancher can switch between producing pork and producing tomatoes at a constant. The farmer should specialize in the production of what? I just cannot wrap my head around these. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so this one we just need to figure out who has the absolute advantage because that's the one they should specialize in.
I think so.
Well, the farmer produces more pork.
So these are labor hours. So it takes 6
right,
hours to
right.
produce 1 pound of pork, and it takes
I
3
see.
hours to produce 1 pound of tomatoes.
Oh, I read the other chart totally wrong then. Because isn't this the same chart as the one above?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, it is.
sounded crazy when I was trying to explain what I thought on the other one.
No, you're good. I thought the same, but I think the other one's still. I just looked at it. The answer will still be the same. So, but with this one, so the farmer would be better at making tomatoes because it only takes him 3 hours,
Right.
and it takes the other farmer or the rancher 4. So I think it would be that the farmer should specialize in tomatoes and the rancher in pork because it takes him less time than the farmer to make pork.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I would say. So that's the second one, right? Tomatoes, and the rancher should specialize in pork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Assume that Maya and Miguel can. Blah blah blah. Maya has an absolute advantage in the production of what? Both. Right? Because she can make both of them, or it takes less hours on both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And she produces a higher total of both.
Okay, so then who has comparative advantage? Or which one does she have comparative advantage in?
So this is where we need to find the opportunity cost. Which, do you just find that by, if she makes one toaster, she can only, okay, so if she makes one mixer, she mixes out on making a toaster. But if she makes one toaster, she misses out on making like 3/4 of a mixer.
Yes.
So I said that, but now I don't understand why.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the amount produced in 40 hours. So if she spends 40 hours making 5 mixers, she doesn't make any toasters. So if she makes one mixer, she's missing out on more than one toaster.
Yeah. So she has the advantage in. So she's better off making mixers.
Oh, but aren't we supposed to be comparing? No, comparing between her two or comparing between her and Maya and Miguel? No, I'm confused. Hold on.
So yeah, now we're trying to find where she has the comparative advantage,
Which is compared to somebody else or compared to herself?
which would be compared to Miguel.
Miguel.
Okay. So it looks like Miguel.
Yeah, another producer.
I was wondering if looking at his made it easier, but I don't think it does.
So Miguel makes one toaster for every 2 mixers.
One mixer for every 2 toasters.
Oh yeah, okay. So when you were just explaining it for the last time, did you get 40 just by doing 8 times 5?
I was talking about 40 hours produced. That's what it says at the top of the graph.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense. I'm like, where's the 40 coming from?
Yeah, sorry. I thought it would be easier to look on that side, but now I don't know. I mean, it does with Miguel, because it is. If you make one mixer, you're missing out on 2 toasters. So he has the comparative advantage. Or he has the... Wait, I don't... I'm so confused.
Okay, so Miguel's is comparative advantage, or Miguel's opportunity cost for making mixers is 2 toasters.
Mm-hmm.
For Maya, her opportunity cost for making a mixer is less than 2 toasters. So I would say
She has the comparative advantage in mixers?
I would say Miguel has the comparative advantage in mixers. No.
So if you flip it, so in the amount of time that he can make 2 toasters, he would be, or the amount of time it would take him to make 1 toaster, he would be missing out on 2 mixers. Is that right? Or no, that's flipped.
Yeah, it's flipped. So
Okay.
he makes half a mixer for 1 toaster.
Okay.
And Maya makes less than half a mixer for 1 toaster.
So Miguel is better at mixers. So Maya is better at toasters.
Yeah.
So she has absolute advantage for both and a comparative advantage in toasters. Boom.
Yes.
I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm going to confuse myself. Moving on.
Yes, both goods and comparative advantage in the production of posters.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does our professor actually watch these videos? Because this is just sad.
I think we should make sure. people
I
are-
hope not.
I don't watch them.
Okay. Total output in an economy increases when each person specializes because there's less competition. Each person spends more time producing that product in which he or she has a comparative advantage. A wider variety of products will be produced, government, and blah, blah, blah. Each person spends more time producing that product. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Okay, this is the same one from above, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Arturo and Dinah would not be able to gain from trade if Dinah's opportunity cost of 1 taco changed to. Three fourths.
Well, does that mean we need to know what it was?
No, we can figure out what it is because if she makes 400 tacos, she's missing out on 200 burritos. So if you simplify that down, if she makes one taco, she's missing out on half a burrito.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the bottom or the right graph, so Dinah's.
Okay.
So if she makes 400 tacos, if that's all she does, she's missing out on making 200 burritos.
Okay.
So if you simplify that down, then for every 2 tacos, it's 1 burrito. So for every 1 taco, it's a half of a burrito.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So her opportunity cost for 1 taco is half of a burrito. So what would make trade she would not be able to gain from trade if her opportunity cost of 1 taco changes to and this is where I think you know how you said trade has to come between the 2 opportunity costs?
Yeah.
So if we look at Arturo's, his opportunity cost of a taco is for 400 tacos is 300 burritos. So simplify that down. It's 4 tacos is 3 burritos. Ooh, simplify
Need-
that down.
4?
Huh?
Do you mean it's 3 tacos for 4 burritos?
No. Because he makes 400 tacos or 300 burritos.
Yeah,
For turn.
300 burritos for 3 burritos for 4 tacos.
So if you simplify that down, it's 1 in. Oh, geez. It would be.
3/4 burrito for 1 taco.
Yeah, that's what I think it would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, if
Well,
her opportunity cost goes outside of a half a burrito and 3/4 of a burrito, then they won't be able to gain from trade.
right.
So which of the answers doesn't fall between that? 2 of them. Dang
2.
it.
Huh.
Oh wait, no, 4/3. No, 4/3 doesn't fall in between there though. Wait, so no, because her opportunity cost is 1/2, and his opportunity cost is 4/3. Because it's 4 burritos over. Oh wait, no, I'm backwards. You're right. It's 3/4.
Okay.
If it's 1 taco, no, 2 tacos for 1 burrito, then it's 4 tacos for 3 burritos. If it was the other one, the answer would be 2 because the range would be 1/2 to 4/3. But I don't know if that's right or not.
Would not be able to gain from trade if Dinah's opportunity cost of 1 taco changed to them. And her opportunity cost, she's the second graph, right? I can't see that.
Yeah. So hers is 1/2.
1/2.
Or a half a burrito is 1 taco.
Right.
So if it
And then-
changed to any of them, it wouldn't work. I would have thought.
Well,
So-
because. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so just like you said, so hers is 1/2, his is 3/4. So I think those are like the boundaries. So according to like what we read, it has to be either either one of those two or within those in order for both of them to gain. But if it's outside of that, then they don't gain.
So
So
that's
I
why
don't-
I'm wondering if it's 4/3.
Yeah.
And because only if it's 4/3 and 1/2, then everything lies between that except for 2, and that gives us one answer. But if it's 3/4, then we have 2 options.
I see what you mean. So that's why.
So logically, I'm wondering if we're just all twisted around with the 3/4 and 4/3,
Yeah.
and 2 is the answer. But
So
I don't know.
I feel like it would need to be 2 anyway, because if we're anywhere close to those to being right with the 1/2 and the 3/4, like 2 doesn't come anywhere close to that.
That's true.
but if the answer if Arturo's opportunity cost is 4/3, then that would make Dina's opportunity cost 2.
That's right.
Mm.
But then neither of the other 2 would land in between that. So we still have the same problem. Because neither 1/2 or 3/4 falls between 4/3 and 2.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Would not be able to gain from trade. If Dina's is 1,
Or here's another thought. So when I did this, I put that the answer was 3/4. And I was trying to think of my thought process. And I think it's because if her opportunity cost is the same as Arturo's, they wouldn't benefit from trading, right? Because their opportunity cost is the same. So why would they trade?
right.
So there's another thought just to confuse everybody.
Right. So it just says they would not be able to gain if her opportunity cost changed. So to gain if her opportunity cost changed to what?
Mm-hmm. So if it changed to 3/4, that's the same as our churros. Or if it changed to 2, that's outside of the limits that we set. So it just depends on which way we want to think about it, or which way's the right way to think about it.
I think we're overthinking it.
Do you remember anything from what you put? I can't remember.
No,
No.
no, I can't remember.
Arturo and Dina would not be.
But I think I did put it either 3/4 or 4/3. I can't remember which one.
You know if you got it right? If it's one of those.
I'm not sure. I did get some wrong, but I can't remember which ones.
I think we're just gonna have to pick one.
Can you only take this test once?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should we come back to it? We have a couple more. We could come back and see what our thinking is in a minute.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Exports are goods produced domestically.
And sold abroad.
Yep. Wish they were all like that.
England should export what? I put 2 answers on my thing when I went through it, so that's helpful.
Okay, so you think. Okay, so England's better at cheese.
So they want to export something they're good at, right? Because they have an excess of it.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Right. And they would want to import things that they aren't able to get enough of inside for
But they're
domestic.
better at both.
So do they just not? They export both and import neither?
But that's the whole point of if they can specialize in cheese.
I think I had they should export cheese and import bread.
I feel like that's the answer because the whole point of this chapter was that you should trade even if you're better at both things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. Want to go with cheese?
Sure.
And import bread.
Okay.
Just because you're better at it doesn't mean you should do both, right?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the chapter kept saying.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay, here's another one. Suppose that a worker in Boatland can produce either 5 units of wheat or 25 units of fish per year, and a worker in farmland can produce either 25 units of wheat or 5 units of fish per year. There are 30 workers in each country. No trade occurs between the two countries. Boatland produces and consumes 75 units of wheat and 375 units of fish per year, while farmland produces and consumes 375 units of wheat and 75 units of fish. If trade were to occur, Boatland would trade 90 units of fish to farmland in exchange for 80 units of wheat. If Boatland now completely specializes in fish production, how many units of fish could it now consume along with the 80 units of imported wheat? Okay.
So I remember this one. I had 660 units.
That's what I put too.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain how you got that?
I can't remember. I'll have to like look at this again. And
So
I'm bad at explanations. I'll probably confuse you guys.
you're good. So what I did was, so if Boatland is specializing in fish, that means that all 30 of their workers are making fish. So in Boatland, they make 25 units of fish per year. So I multiplied 25 by 30 because that's all my workers are doing. And that makes 750 units of fish. But if we're trading, we're getting rid of 90 units of that fish. So you subtract 90 and get 660.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
along the lines of what I was thinking too.
Okay.
That one is
Last
not
one.
hard for some reason. Okay. Colombia should specialize in the production of what? Okay, so they're better at coffee, but Chile is even better than them at coffee, but also really good at soybeans. So I would say coffee. I would say Colombia should specialize in coffee and import soybeans.
Soybeans. Yeah.
I agree.
I
Put
agree.
the same thing, even though they're better.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
back to 17. Or not 17. Yeah, no, 16.
16.
Yeah. So I think, and you guys can like throw the blame on me for this one, but I think it's 3/4.
You think it's 3/4?
Yeah.
That's what I had when I went through it yesterday, but I get both sides of what we've now talked about. So
I don't
That's a-
understand. I don't understand that one. I'm definitely gonna make an appointment with the tutor so that next week I can be more helpful.
Yeah.
yeah, I looked into that last night while I was doing this. I was like, when are tutor sessions?
Yeah, did you find out?
I just looked on BYUI. There's a bunch, but they're not at great times for me, but that doesn't mean they're at great times for other people. So I think they're super random. You'd have to go look, but they have some Tuesdays and Thursdays and then I think Saturdays.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I'm going to try, but I can't promise with my schedule that I can make it work. But I really want to because this made no sense.
Yeah.
So do we see how we did?
I have an idea. So in my last classes with these,
Mm-hmm.
we would each take turns. I mean, you guys don't have to do this if you don't want to, but we would each take turns submitting the quiz first, and then give the other student, the other members of a group, a chance to change the answers and understand it better. And then, like one person, so like I could go first this time, and I could submit it first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I did that in my other classes too.
The only thing is that, sorry, can you tell me how to say your name again?
Shanaz?
Shanaz?
Both have hard.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
said she couldn't see her quiz after she submitted it. So she doesn't know which one she got wrong.
Couldn't you see it immediately?
I think, yeah, immediately after
Oh,
I
okay.
saw, I think, yeah. If
Okay,
I remember right.
Okay, so if you want, I'll submit it first, and then we can just see what we got wrong, and then we can try again. That way we can maybe guess the right answer and at least understand it.
Right.
Okay, I'll do it this time. Okay, not bad. Yeah, you
Oh, no, we can't see it.
that's a bummer. That worked for the classes, and it was super, super helpful. Because then at least once in a while, we each got 100.
So maybe, even though we might not be able to do that, maybe next time we meet, we go over this one because he'll probably open it after the due date.
You think so?
I would
I hope
assume so. They have to open it at some point so we can prepare for exams.
Right.
So I would assume that maybe by the like after it's closed at midnight or whatever, then we can go in and see which ones we got wrong, and then maybe we just talk about those next time, like at the beginning of our next one before we start, just to see if we've found clarity on it, so we actually learn and not just
Yes.
keep getting them wrong. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, the other thing I was going to ask you guys is, what is your Tuesday night like? Like, would you guys rather meet later or earlier? I'm flexible, so if there's something that works better for you, what do you guys think? Because we have, I mean, obviously we can decide to meet whenever we want.
That's true.
I'm fine with this time.
Yeah, 6 was good for me. I just don't know about the 2 that didn't show up.
I wonder if they're in a different time zone. Are we all in the same time zone?
No,
We were
I'm 2 hours ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of the groups were based off of Rexburg time. So they were
Yeah.
supposed to take that into account. But
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean that, I mean, I get confused with time zones all the time. So that doesn't mean that they didn't.
Right.
But
I mean, maybe they just didn't check the emails. I don't know, but
so I was good with 6 just because that worked for me. But, and if it takes longer, it gets later, then that works if for me to be earlier. But like I said, I'm good with whatever.
yeah, 6 works fine for me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the other 2 did respond, but then they just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we'll have better luck.
If you guys are flexible with it, I'm wondering if we could switch it to 7. I feel like I'll have more time to work on the assignment before if we do it at 7. If that's okay.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. That's super helpful. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, then I will, as soon as we log off, I will submit this link to the discussion board. So
Okay.
you can see that we were all there.
Oh, and by the way, it says on here that you'll be able to see the quiz questions and answers once the due date has passed. It's
Oh,
on the
good.
screen. I just wasn't reading.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, guys.
All
See
right,
ya
you
next
guys.
week at 7.
guys.
All right, see ya.